Good morning, America. Breaking news. Dozens of people reported hurt after a truck rammed into a bus stop in Israel. Police calling it a terror attack, coming one day after the country's biggest direct military strike on Iran. What we know at this hour.
From a marathon to a sprint, the 2024 presidential race entering into its last full week. Former First Lady Michelle Obama campaigning for Vice President Kamala Harris, taking aim at Donald Trump.
His erratic behavior, his obvious mental decline, his history as a convicted felon.
Trump getting in his own attacks on his opponent.
She would get us into World War III because she's too grossly incompetent to do anything about it.
Political analysis of the race, plus results of our latest ABC News Ipsos poll. Could the election come down to just one state?
Delphi murder trial, new testimony this weekend in the trial of Richard Allen, accused of murdering 2 teenage girls. An officer recounting an interview with Allen, a closer look at the case, and others making headlines this week.
Thanksgiving meal deal wars. The food fight among retailers that could save you money as you shop for your holiday feast.
Here's my sweet girl in mac and cheese heaven.
Plus, Halloween help. The DIY costume ideas turning household items into clever creations.
It's football Sunday. Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa returns to the field after that frightening concussion. ESPN's Herm Edwards with all the week's storylines. And oh, Tani, the Dodgers take Game 2 of the World Series, but its star leaves the field injured. Will Shohei Ohtani return for Game 3?
Live from ABC News in New York, this is Good Morning America.
Good morning, America. Happy Sunday to you. Thank you for starting your week with us. We have a lot to get to this morning, a lot of sports, also a lot of politics. Just 9 days to go until Election Day, while the candidates are both planning big events, one of them today.
But we do start this morning with that breaking news at this hour, what police are calling a likely terror attack in Israel at a crowded bus stop near Tel Aviv.
Yeah, we're talking about a truck ramming into a crowd of people, leaving dozens injured, and coming a day after Israel's attacks on a number of targets in Iran. ABC's Soufi Burridge is in Israel right now with the very latest. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning, Joe. Yeah, we're right down at the scene of that attack. You can see the heavy truck. Just look at the destruction right over it. You get a sense of the force. As Israeli police say, it rammed into this area as a crowd of people were getting off a bus. And Israeli police within the last few minutes confirming to us that Israeli military personnel working at some of the bases around here are amongst the injured in what Israeli police say is a suspected terror attack. This morning, a likely terror attack, say police, close to key bases for Israeli military intelligence, including Mossad's HQ. A truck ploughing into a crowd of people at a bus stop north of Tel Aviv. At least 35 people injured, 6 in a serious condition, according to emergency services. Passers-by shooting dead the driver of the truck at the scene. It comes just a day after Israel's biggest ever direct military attack on Iran. New videos showing the moments before F-15s and F-16s took off on their mission Friday night. Israeli officials saying dozens of aircraft striking Iran's air defenses and missile and drone production and storage sites. Iranian air defense flashing in the sky over Tehran. ABC News learning a substantial part of Israel's missiles were fired from outside of Iranian airspace, according to an Israeli official. And these the first verified images of the aftermath of one of those strikes. Significant damage to buildings in an industrial zone on the edge of Tehran. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu saying it's completely false that he avoided striking Iran's oil and nuclear facilities because of US pressure. And Iran's Supreme Leader Khamenei calling Israel's attack a miscalculation and indicating Iran will respond. And guys, emergency services now saying 33 people injured in this attack. And Israeli police also saying to us that they believe the suspected truck driver was an Israeli Arab. That's important if it's true, because it would mean he would be an Israeli citizen. And think about it, guys. Earlier this month, Iran fired a barrage of ballistic missiles trying to hit one of the military bases around here. But it is a truck in this attack this morning which has caused more casualties. guys.
And that is quite the scene behind you, too. Soufi Burridge, we appreciate you reporting this morning. Thank you. Turning now to the presidential race, just 9 days to go now. The candidates planning major events this week to deliver their closing message to voters. Former President Trump holding a big rally inside New York's Madison Square Garden today. Vice President Kamala Harris on Tuesday takes to the National Mall in Washington. ABC's White House correspondent Mary Alice Parks joins us with the latest. And Mary Alice, a familiar face hitting the trail as well for Vice President Harris. Good morning.
Yeah, that's right. Good morning, Whit. Michelle Obama said that she hates politics, but she felt the stakes were too high. She gave one of the most powerful speeches of the campaign cycle, describing in intimate detail the effects of new restrictions on reproductive health and asking men, in her words, to take women's lives seriously. Overnight, Michelle Obama on the campaign trail for the first time alongside Vice President Kamala Harris, arguing too many people are giving former President Donald Trump a pass.
I hope that you'll forgive me if I'm a little angry that we are indifferent to his erratic behavior, his obvious mental decline, his history as a convicted felon.
But it was her powerful turn to the fight over reproductive rights that set her speech apart. The former First Lady laying bare real-life consequences of the strict new anti-abortion laws put in place since the fall of Roe v. Wade. Talking about women's health in detail. Doctors unsure if they can treat miscarriages, that clinics that provide cancer screenings will close, or that there will be fewer OBGYNs. She also directed her remarks to men, saying a vote for Trump was a vote against women's health.
If we don't get this election right, your wife, your daughter, your mother, we as women will become collateral damage to your rage.
Harris, too, zeroing in on another issue that affects women deeply in the country, caring for seniors and the elderly. Talking about one of her campaign proposals to have Medicare cover the cost of home health care.
It's about their dignity. But we have a lot of people right now living in what we call the sandwich generation, who are taking care of your kids while you're taking care of your parents.
With early voting kicking off in the state this weekend, the former president also in Michigan.
We have a chance, but Michigan, we win Michigan, we win the whole deal.
Inviting local Arab and Muslim leaders who've endorsed him on stage.
Because he promises peace.
Trump has promised, if elected, to reinstate the so-called Muslim ban, to keep Muslims from entering the country. During his first term, he also cut off U.S. aid to Palestine. But he predicted Harris would lose Arab American votes over the war in Gaza.
She would get us into World War III because she's too grossly incompetent to do anything about it.
He capped his day campaigning at Penn State University, zeroing in on students in the crowd and transgender athletes.
Our country really has gone bad. It's gone bad. It's so sad. When you look at the things we're doing, that we even have to say, like, men playing in women's sports, I don't think so.
Now, Harris today heads to Pennsylvania, too, as Trump holds that rally in New York City, a kickoff to his closing arguments. Yesterday, he called into an event with the New York State Republican Party. He called New York City a deteriorating city, and he said all the rich people are leaving. Janae?
A lot to be watched for tonight. Mary Alice Parks, thank you so much. And just out this morning, a new ABC News Ipsos poll in the closing days of the campaign. So let's bring in ABC News political director and Washington Bureau Chief Rick Klein and Jonathan Karl, who will be hosting This Week later this morning. Good morning to both of you, gentlemen. Thank you so much for being with us. We were just talking about this behind the scenes. What does our new poll say about the race nationally? And Rick, this question is specifically for you. What does it say about the race nationally? And what does that mean compared to the battleground states, which will ultimately decide the race?
Yeah, good morning, Janae. A 51-47 lead among likely voters for Kamala Harris, but that is by no means a safe lead. We have seen across a range of recent polling a tied race, maybe even Trump ahead by a point or two. The 538 polling average has Harris up by a little more than a percentage point nationally. And your point about the battleground states is exactly right. The race is essentially deadlocked across those 7 battleground states. Trump has shown the slightest signs of momentum in the last couple of weeks. And if you just take our poll and you narrow down among the battleground states, you see that margin begin to tighten. So this is going to be fought out on the ground in those 7 states where you see just just the narrowest of edges for Harris in Michigan and Wisconsin, and right now a slight Trump lead, but all of this well within margins of error, and all of it very much coming down to who shows up between now and election night.
And Rick, what does the poll tell us about the candidates' strengths and weaknesses on the major issues?
Yeah, we're seeing a real split in terms of how the candidates are perceived and how voters are ranking some of these different issues. We see Donald Trump with a clear edge to voters who are concerned most about the economy. It's similar on immigration and the border. That's his biggest lead on anything in the poll. But the flip side of that is that Kamala Harris has a big edge on people that think about abortion rights first and foremost, and this key issue of protecting American democracy. A lot of Republicans think that Trump is the choice, but overall, particularly among independents, Harris is the choice, and that feeds right into her closing message.
John, let's turn to you because you've been watching the battleground states. Could this really come down to just one state?
Gee, this could come down to one city.
Wow.
This could come down to one city. First of all, as you saw, Rick showed that chart of the 7 battleground states. Every single one of them is within the margin of error. Now, that means they could all break one way and you have a relative electoral landslide, or you could have a scenario, and there are a number of scenarios, where you actually end up with a situation where one candidate has 268 electoral votes and the other candidate has 270. And the one electoral vote that made a difference is Nebraska, which actually splits its votes. The area around Omaha has a single electoral vote, and that is an area right now where Kamala Harris has a lead, and she may need it. She may need it to get over the top. We'll see how it plays out.
And John, what will the key message from each candidate be in these final 9 days? And really, John, what could it be? Because when a race comes down to that close, and the criticism of each candidate, when 8% of people, according to our poll, believe that Donald Trump is a fascist but would still vote for him, what could either candidate say?
I mean, don't you want to, Janae, get out there and meet some of these undecided voters?
Yes.
How at this point are you undecided in this race? Look, it's pretty simple going down to the argument for Trump is essentially, and he said it last night, are you better off today than you were 4 years ago? Now, that's the argument Republicans want him to be making in the end. But, of course, he is not known for message discipline. He talks about things like the enemy within. His Joe Rogan podcast, he was talking about life on Mars. He's not exactly disciplined in making that message, but that's where Republicans say it has to come down to. And for Kamala Harris, what she is really zeroing in on now is what she defines as the threat of Donald Trump. You heard her say that he is a fascist. She is basically just quoting people who worked very closely with Donald Trump, like John Kelly in the White House. But she is making the case not just for her own policies, but that the country has a severely important choice, and that Donald Trump actually poses a threat to American democracy.
All right, John, Carl, and Rick Klein, we so appreciate your guidance here on this consequential Sunday, just 9 days away. Thanks to you both. And we are going to turn now to the murder trial of Richard Allen, accused of killing 2 teenage girls in Delphi, Indiana, back in 2017. The sheriff testifying that Allen himself went to police 3 days after the murders, but he fell in the cracks for years, leaving him hiding in plain sight. And ABC's Ike Ajachi is here with that stunning testimony. Good morning, Ike.
Yeah, good morning, Gio. Day 8 of this trial largely focused on that officer's interrogation of Richard Allen before he was arrested and charged. The defense beginning their cross-examination, raising issues with the way evidence was gathered. This morning, new details in the trial of Richard Allen, the man accused of the brutal murders of 2 Delphi, Indiana teens, 13-year-old Abby Williams and her friend 14-year-old Libby German. Indiana State Police Lieutenant Jerry Holman, the officer who interviewed Allen, returning to the stand to recall that 2022 interrogation. Holman telling the jury he recalled questioning Allen about the unspent cartridge found near the girls' bodies, a key piece of evidence in the case, saying Allen told him there's no way that round cycled through my gun. I don't know how it got there. Holman also testifying that Allen's demeanor during the interview became increasingly agitated, adding Allen continued to deny involvement in the murders despite being asked 20 to 25 times. At one point, the officer said he told Allen he believed he was a good man. Allen allegedly responding, saying what kind of good person would kill 2 girls. The defense cross-examining Holman, questioning his interrogation methods, even raising issues with the evidence gathering at the crime scene. Holman stating mistakes were made. Allen has pleaded not guilty to murder. So far, the jury has heard testimony from 25 of the prosecution's witnesses. The prosecutors also showing jurors 42 pictures of the crime scene where Abby's and Libby's bodies were discovered. The girls were found on Valentine's Day 2017, a day after they had set out for a hike on the Monon High Bridge Trail. Now, Allen was interviewed by police 2 more times in October of 2022. The judge ruling those videos will be played in court next week. The trial will resume on Monday at 9 a.m. Guys?
Hiding in plain sight, but those families hoping for more answers. I thank you for that. Now to the Delta Airlines, taking cybersecurity firm CrowdStrike to court over the massive computer outage this summer. Remember that? It caused travel chaos, among many other problems for businesses around the world. In the suit filed Friday, Delta says CrowdStrike cut corners and failed to test an update that was sent out to millions of Microsoft computers worldwide. Delta says the outage caused the airline to cancel 7,000 flights over a 5-day period during peak travel time over the summer. CrowdStrike firing back, releasing a statement saying in part, Delta's claims are based on disproven misinformation.
Well, with Thanksgiving just about a month away, it's already time for many families to start thinking about their shopping list for the big dinner. And ABC's Alexis Christophorus is here with a look at some of the big discounts being advertised already, Alexis. We're still trying to get Halloween in order.
I hear you already, Whit. And unfortunately, inflation will be making an appearance at your Thanksgiving table this year. But the good news is some retailers have already started slashing prices to appeal to consumers. Retailers setting the table early with deals aplenty for your Thanksgiving feast.
There is a lot of competition for your business, and we are seeing that in the promotions that are rolling out.
Sam's Club is the latest to join the price drop parade. Its members mark Thanksgiving meal promises to feed up to 10 people for under $100. Aldi's is serving up its lowest price Thanksgiving meal since 2019, feeding 10 people for $4.70 per person. That beats Walmart's inflation-free holiday meal for 10 at less than $7 a plate. Retailers trying to tempt inflation-weary shoppers with super low prices.
Inflation is still playing a huge role for Americans this Thanksgiving. People are still really feeling that sticker shock at the grocery store. They're more likely to shop at more retailers in search of the best prices.
Despite cooling inflation, grocery prices are still up 25% compared to 5 years ago. According to Wells Fargo's annual report, shoppers will find a mixed bag this Thanksgiving. Turkey prices down 16% compared to last year, but ham prices are up 5.2%. Inflation is making an appearance in some popular side dishes. Sweet potatoes up 4%. Russet potatoes at an all-time high, up 14%. Canned green beans cost 9% more, while canned pumpkin prices are up a whopping 30% compared to last year. Now, whenever possible, choose fresh produce. Fresh cranberry prices, for instance, are down 20% compared to last year versus canned cranberry sauce, which is up 7%. Plus, cranberries can last in the fridge for up to a month in their original packaging or an airtight container. So, guys, you can mark that off your list early.
Just found out that Gio loves canned pumpkin.
Oh, I'm all about
the pumpkin, canned cranberries, all
You
of
just
it.
eat it out of the can?
No, I mean, you prepare it. Like, come on. What am I?
Thank you,
slice it right on the ridges.
All right, forget it.
We're going to turn now to the World Series, and the Dodgers taking a 2-0 lead in the showdown with their victory over the Yankees. But the big headline, it is the injury to the Dodgers star player. ABC's Melissa Dunn has more.
And the Dodgers lead this World Series 2-0.
An exciting and highly anticipated Game 2 of the World Series took an ominous turn when Dodgers star player Shohei Ohtani injured his shoulder in the game's 7th inning. Ohtani on the ground in pain, holding his left arm after attempting to steal second base. And while the LA Dodgers beat the New York Yankees 4-2, uncertainty over when Ohtani could return to the field remains.
We'll know more in the next couple of days, but the strength was great, the range of motion good, so we're encouraged. But obviously, I can't speculate because we don't get the scans yet.
According to ESPN, Ohtani is expected to undergo medical examinations in LA before reconnecting with his team already in New York for the next few games against the Yankees. Still, it was a strong start for LA Tommy Edman,
Hit in the air down the left field line.
getting the Dodgers on the board.
Tommy Edman strikes again.
Followed by Teoscar Hernandez.
Teoscar Hernandez puts the Dodgers back in front.
The crowd cheering for Freddie Freeman after Game 1's historic walk-off grand slam.
Launches this ball right field. He's found the seats again.
The chance paying off. Freeman hitting a home run, securing the Dodgers' lead in the third inning. Now, both teams are heading to the Bronx. Game 3 is tomorrow night at Yankee Stadium. And look, Fat Joe is expected to perform and cheer on his hometown after Ice Cube's stellar LA performance. It was a good day, guys.
Oh, man, I do like that song, too.
Yeah.
Yep, being from California. Thank you, Melissa, Don. All right, coming up here on GMA, officers' retrial. Look ahead to the anticipated testimony Monday of one of the former police officers involved in the botched raid that killed Breonna Taylor.
And it's NFL Week 8. ESPN Herm Edwards is here. We'll be right back.
Lock up your children. Yes, Salem, we're back.
Gio's favorite movie. Welcome back to GMA on this Sunday morning. The Sanderson sisters are back. Hocus Pocus 2, the haunting sequel to the Halloween classic, is making its broadcast television premiere tonight right here on ABC. So that's all leading up to Halloween, of course, this Thursday. And if you're still looking for what to wear, Will Ganss will be back here with some easy DIY costume ideas.
Yeah, we know that you were looking at some of your costume ideas yesterday.
I nailed it down. I got it.
You did.
Yep, not going to give it away, but I got it.
Let's take a look at some of the other big stories that we're following on this Sunday morning here. Happening right now. Breaking news overnight in Israel, where police say at least 35 people have been hurt in what they are calling a likely terrorist attack. They say a truck slammed into pedestrians waiting at a bus stop near Tel Aviv. 6 people are said to be in serious condition.
Also right now, the 2024 presidential race is going into its last full week. Vice President Kamala Harris heads to Pennsylvania today with battleground states in dead heats. Michelle Obama was on the campaign trail overnight for the first time alongside Harris in Michigan. Donald Trump, meanwhile, holding a big rally today in New York's Madison Square Garden.
And new this morning, a senior member of his team is reporting that Britain's King Charles will return to a full-time work schedule next year as he continues his cancer treatments. The news comes as the King and Queen just wrapped up a visit to Australia and Samoa.
All right, and it has been a very busy legal week here in the world. So we start this half hour here with a closer look at some of the top trials and cases. And for that, joining us is ABC legal contributor Brian Buckmeyer. Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so let's talk about what we started talking about during the show, at the top of the show, the Delphi murders of Abby Williams and Libby German. We heard that incredible testimony from the sheriff saying that the suspect had actually himself gone to police just 3 days after the murder and then was sort of like lost in the system for years. What's the latest on that? Because what's the strongest argument? We know he's pleaded not guilty.
Yeah, so for the prosecution, some of the strongest arguments would be that shell casing that they said they were able to identify being close to the bodies that matches a gun that Richard Allen has, along with the testimony we heard about his interrogation. Now, there is no video of the interrogation, so we have to look at it through the lens of the officer, which is not the greatest of lens if you're a defense attorney, but I think that's some of the strongest argument. When it comes to the shell casing, depending on who you ask, it can be considered to be more art than science or science than arts. It's really just an observation of the bullet and saying, hey, when the bullet cycles through the gun, we can see the kind of markings on it, and because of the markings on it, we think it goes to this gun. So both sides are going to argue as to whether or not that's an accurate representation or not. When it comes to what we're going to see going forward, we've already seen the lieutenant talk about his interrogation. We're going to have more testimony about more interrogation to get more of a better view as to Richard Allen in this case.
Okay, that's going to be really fascinating to watch. Another one that we're watching is the former police officer due to take the stand in his own defense for that botched raid that led to the death of Breonna Taylor. He has pleaded not guilty to civil rights offenses. What can we expect in this federal trial? And I mean, many people are probably thinking, I remember hearing about this in 2020. How is this still a thing now?
Yeah, so the reason why you're still hearing about it is because this is actually Brett Hankinson's third trial. There was a state trial that he was acquitted of. There was a federal trial where there was a mistrial, and so they're trying him again for the second time. So if you're hearing it over and over again, it's multiple trials. And you're right, he's about to take the stand. And in fact, I was actually there for his state trial. I had the ability to interview Breonna Taylor's mother, speak to the defense attorneys after the acquittal, and even walk through the home where Breonna Taylor was killed. And I listened to some of his testimony, and I think when Brett Hankinson takes the stand, I think that's what's really having jurors having trouble with this case, why it's been a mistrial the first time because they couldn't come to a decision. And I think his testimony tends to be very powerful, even though the evidence against him is very strong.
Wow, that must have been quite the experience for you walking through that home, too, and seeing all that evidence firsthand. I do want to turn to another case that's getting a lot of attention. We're talking about rapper Lil Durk, won a Grammy, now accused of this murder for hire plot and arrested. What more are we learning about this case?
Yeah, so if you are following Lil Durk, or aka Durk Banks, you know of his music going across genres even. What we're learning about this case is this is a murder for hire plot that resulted in a death. And so what the federal government is saying is that Lil Durk, along with 5 others, coordinated the death of an individual. And the information of the story goes is that an individual from one of his rap conglomerates based in Chicago was killed by a friend of the victim. And so the allegations is that Lil Durk wanted to set up other individuals killing this person. If you listen to like Aha by Lil Durk, unfortunately, it sounds like he's actually rapping to a confession of doing this.
Really?
And so when you think about the rap industry and music being allowed as evidence, this might be a case where some of his lyrics are actually used against him. And then, of course, the headline of him flying off to whether it be Switzerland, Italy, or Dubai, because he had tickets for all 3.
Right, tickets to all 3 on the same day.
Yeah, you guess which one doesn't have an extradition treaty. So the arrest has been kind of messy. He's going to be shipped back to California to hear these hear these charges along with the other co-defendants.
Something to watch closely. Very fascinating. Brian Buckmeyer, it's great to have you in the studio this morning. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having
me. Sunday. We'll talk to you soon.
Coming up here on Good Morning America, our guy, Herm Edwards, joins us to break down this week's top NFL games. Stick around, you're watching GMA on Sunday morning.
Welcome back to GMA as we take a look at Week 8 in the NFL and the teams going head-to-head. Back with us from Bristol, Connecticut, veteran head coach and our favorite guy, Herm Edwards. Always great to have you, Coach. Good Sunday to you. Let's talk about the Dolphins versus the Cardinals. Quarterback Tua Tagovailoa makes his return to the field after that concussion back in Week 2. What can we look for in his comeback?
Well, I think if you're a coach, you're going to probably try to protect your quarterback. A lot of 6-7 man protection, run some tight formations where people can't get to him. And then the passing game is going to have to be some quick passes. Get the ball out of his hand quickly and then turn around and give it to the runner, Mostert. Play the game that way early. Let him get through that first or second quarter so he can get a feel and the speed of the game. We're all holding our breath right now as Tua comes back to play, and we hope him and wish his team a lot of success.
Absolutely. So many of us all wishing him well, that's for sure. All right, Coach, you know what I got to ask you about? Cowboys traveling to San Francisco to take on my Niners, this rivalry, of course. Both teams, dealing with injuries. So what can we expect here? Give me some good news, please, Coach.
Well, the good news is that the Edwards family is at the game.
Okay.
So that's the good news. My 2 daughters and my wife are sitting with the Lynch family, and so it's going to be a good day in San Francisco. We're rubbing our hands and saying, come on, 49ers. Look, 49ers, they have to stay out of their own way. They've got to get off to a fast start with this football team. And obviously, the run game's going to be important. Get Purdy going early in this game. They've squandered some leads. They're playing a Cowboy team that physically got beat up the last time they played 2 weeks ago. So that guy's got to be involved. Debo, obviously. Kittle, get Kittle involved in the red zone. This is a must-win for the 49ers. I hate to say this. Think about this. It's hard for me to say this. The 49ers are in last place right now. Their division.
I was hoping you wouldn't say it.
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah.
All right.
There's someone else in last place in our next segment.
Yeah.
Who's with her?
Speaking of last place.
So let's go ahead and show that. Witt has 5 so far. Janae's got 4.
I got 6.
Herm's got 3. No. Oh, you got 6?
I think
you got 5?
they updated these numbers.
Okay, and Herm's got 4. I still have 0 because the goal of the game for me is to pick the loser.
No.
Monday night's going to feature
Huge
two
fan.
franchises with questions at the quarterback. Who's your pick, Herm? You got the Giants or the Steelers?
They play to win the game, Coach. Come on, right?
Come on. It's the Steelers. Are you kidding me? You know, Russell Wilson, all of a sudden, he's cooking again, right? He's cooking. Russell Wilson's cooking. The Steelers have an outstanding defense. This is a game they have to win. I mean, they can't let this one get away. The Giants are a little bit wounded. Let me ask you something if you're a Giant fan. Who's the quarterback? Is Daniel Jones playing? Is he the starter this week?
I mean, according to fantasy football, I think he is.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm picking the Steelers.
Okay.
All right, Whit.
I'm definitely going Steelers, too.
Totally Russell Wilson.
Listen, I got to stick with New York. I'm going with the Giants.
All right.
I'm going to stick with
Gio, you were doing so good, Gio. Don't go with your emotions. Don't get emotionally involved in it.
See, that's what it is.
Herm, we love you. We love you. Thank you so much, as always. And you can catch the Giants versus Steelers Monday night at 8 right here on ABC.
You're putting too much of your heart into it. That's what it is. It's
New Yorkers,
leading you
man.
afoul. We are fully in the Halloween spirit already here, helping you get ready for Halloween. Looking at the cutest DIY costumes. I'm glad we put cutest in there. For the kiddies spotted on social media and helping to inspire your own creativity here, we've got our ever-inspiring Will Ganss in the house. We already started this conversation.
Oh, yeah.
It's
We
a
are
lot
in
this
the
morning.
Halloween spirit this morning. This Halloween pop culture costumes are in. You can expect to see lots of Cowboy Carters, Chapel Roans, JoJo Siwas, and even some anxieties from Inside Out. But with just a few days to go to pull a costume together, anxiety is starting to feel like more than just a trendy costume.
Halloween is scary enough without scrambling to put together a last-minute costume.
Ready to put their ghost on?
Now from cute cardboard creations to darling DIYs,
My daughter was a grandma for Halloween, and this is how we DIY'd her costume.
content creators are sharing thousands of ideas with the hashtag last-minute Halloween costumes.
Damien from Mean Girls. All you have to do is put your hoodie up, sunglasses, and you can hold up a sign or put it on your chest. She doesn't even go here.
She doesn't even go here.
And some of this year's most viral TikTok costume ideas are proof you don't need to break the bank.
Find inspiration from things that are around your house. Feel free to treat your own home like a thrift store. Like, go and raid the dress-up closet, go raid the craft closet, go dig around in your garage.
Natalie Powell and her daughter Vivian have racked up millions of views for their Halloween ideas over the last 2 spooky seasons.
Gaining inspiration from things that your kids already love. For example, this year, my daughter is absolutely obsessed with mac and cheese. I'm turning her into a cup of like Annie's mac and cheese because it's her favorite.
Cute. A little baby mac and cheese. All right, so I took Natty's advice and cobbled together this Harry Potter costume using my high school graduation robe, my glasses, and a red marker for my scar, and now my wand. Thank you, Gio, by the way. I think the scar turned out pretty good.
Quick.
All right, so Google recently revealed its top 3 most searched costumes this year. Number 3 was Catnap from Poppy Playtime. Number 2 was an Olympic fan favorite. Any guesses? There it is.
Yeah. Predicted that, by the way.
I spun around on the floor. I think I manifested that one. All right, and number 1 is a standout character from Beetlejuice. Yeah, Shrunken Head Bob. So I was actually talking to some of our guys upstairs. There's many Beetlejuices walking around Times Square this year.
Or any day of the year. It's,
you guys have
crossroads
Halloween
of the world.
Costume plans this year. Would you like to share, or is it going to be a reveal what the family's got going on?
Okay, wait, can we just real quick fill in America on the group chat?
Okay.
Oh, no.
Whit was looking up costumes last night. He was looking up Scooby-Doo costumes. He found one on a certain website, sent it to our group chat, and was like, wait, is the model in this costume Gio's husband?
And sure
we
enough.
sent it to a new group chat with his husband.
Tommy is going to kill you.
And it was.
Yeah. Gio's husband was a costume model for Scooby-Doo.
Can we go to commercial break?
And a reminder, ABC News Live will have weekend programming every weekend. We'll be providing the latest breaking news throughout the day.
You're in the chair.
Janae's in the chair today.
Covered.
Happy Sunday.
Bye, everybody.